Islam family, this is part two from part one. I got disconnected calling myself to make sure the volume was up and it cut it off and I didn't know. So I'm going to start off with instructions two and repeat what I already said that wasn't recorded. Again, this is a continuance from part one. So everything that's said in part one applies to part two as far as authority. Okay. Thou art from the womb of thy mother, various and wavering from the loins of thy father, inherited thou instability. Yes, from the womb of thy mother, various and wavering from the loins of thy father, inherited thou instability. So just physically coming from my mother womb and from my father's loins, we have inherited weakness. Okay? That's why it's telling us, nature urgeth thee to inconstancy. Therefore, guard thyself at all times against it. To guard yourself from something is to be mindful. You have to operate within your 5, 6, 7, 8, however many senses that you know you have. You know what I'm saying? Most of y'all know the 5. Start with the 5. Exercise these 5 senses. Use them to control and direct your life. Because if you don't, then you will be controlled through your nature, your lower nature. You know what I'm saying? And most of y'all being controlled through y'all lower nature is the reason why you suffer the way you do, because you're weak. You know what I'm saying? You're inclined towards your weaknesses instead of your strength. Nobody has taught you your strengths. Okay? Nobody has taught you your innate potential, which is where your strength lies. Okay? Let me continue. It says, how then shall thou be firm? You can't be firm if you are indulging in your weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? Like a mind-altering substance. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's alcohol, whether it's weed, whether it's cocaine, heroin, what they call them, dollies, lollies, whatever they are. You know what I'm saying? It says, instruction 3, those who gave thee a body, this body, furnished it with weakness, but he who gave thee a soul armed thee with resolution. It means a means to solve your problems, okay? To do away with your weaknesses. It says, employ it and thou art wise. Be wise and thou art happy. So if you never exercise your 5 senses, which is the actions of the soul, not your 5 senses are the actions of, but along with the actions of your soul, which is thinking, reasoning, willing, and understanding. It's 4. Okay? Thinking, reasoning, willing, and understanding. This is how you operate through your soul. By thinking first. Reasoning means you got to make it justifiable, okay, which makes sure it's right. Because you can't go and do anything and expect for it to be right. It's got to prove to be right. So thinking, reasoning, willing, which is you exercising the will to do. Thinking, reasoning, willing, and understanding. You know what I'm saying? You have to stand under your decisions or stand on your decisions, you know what I'm saying, that you make, okay? Because that becomes your foundation, and that's what makes you strong, and that's what's going to allow you to be wise, and that's what's going to allow you to be happy. But a lot of y'all don't know happiness. It's because you don't possess right knowledge, okay? Like the sister that invested in herself by reading and studying and tapping in and getting in tune and healing. You know what I'm saying? She created a foundation for herself, which allowed her to be content and to be happy within herself. You know what I'm saying? Because where there's knowledge, there can't be weakness. You know what I'm saying? Where there's knowledge, there's resolution, a means to solve problems that stem from weaknesses. Okay? Let's move on. Well, let me go back. So the sister seek knowledge. That's why she could be wise in choosing the right man, because she knows her womanhood. She knows what make her a woman, and she knows good character. She knows her principles, her morals, her code of conduct, you know what I'm saying, that allow her to be wise to choose the right man, to be a father to her children, and to be a husband to her. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't based on emotions. It wasn't based on feelings. And it didn't come through her opening her legs. You know what I'm saying? She used her mind first, versus a sister that didn't use her mind, and she was operating up under a controlled substance or a mind-altering substance, which impaired her judgment, you know what I'm saying, which left her with lack, with less than what she started. You see what I'm saying? Now she got more problems than she ever had, and she gonna keep adding on to her problems until she find resolution through seeking knowledge of self, you know what I'm saying, and building up her character, which is herself, on a spiritual level, which all life comes from spirit. And I'm not pointing in the sky, I'm pointing up to your kingdom. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added unto you. Seek ye first the God within, the intelligence within, the knowledge of self, your higher self, your divine self, the self that they kept you from learning about. They never taught you about your spiritual self, family, which is your essence. They didn't want you to know your essence, because they know if they taught you your essence, you would be most powerful. And they can't control power. You know what I'm saying? They can only exert power over you. But they can't do that if they're teaching you about your power. You know what I'm saying? And they will never teach you about your power, because that goes against their agenda. Okay? We're going to talk about that agenda probably soon. I might should go ahead and implement it now, but I'm going to wait. If it comes back up again, I'll go into it. If it don't, it ain't meant to be. Instruction 4. Let him who doeth well beware how he boasts of it, for rarely is it of his own will. Think about that. When you boast about doing well, you know what I'm saying? What you boasting for? What you bragging about? Good is thy power. The want of good is evil. You know what I'm saying? So don't boast about nothing that comes natural from your application of reason, okay? Because it said, where did I read it at? I think I just quoted it, and it ain't what I just read. So I can't. In other words, reason, fam. Everything got to be based in reason. Everything has to be just in order for it to be justified, right? If it ain't just, if it ain't right, it ain't justified, it's going to cause you to suffer a repulse with moderation. In other words, you're going to trip up somewhere. And what happens when you trip? It's a potential of falling. So tripping shouldn't be in your agenda. Because when you fall, you're going to get dirty and you're liable to hurt yourself. And some of y'all fall every day because you hurt yourself every day here. Okay? We ain't talking physically, we're talking mental. The mental is what's most important. That's the very thing you got to get control of, and they ain't teach you how to do that either, fam. That's why I'm sharing the knowledge that I gained based on my journey, because I've learned things that I've never was taught in school, never was taught in the street, never was taught by my parents. You know what I'm saying? Never was taught by nobody. I had to go to the dungeon. You know what I'm saying? Scripture say out from the prison they will reign, because you got people going to prison, finding themselves, learning the truth, and the truth is setting them free. And they coming out here and they living a free life, different from the life that everybody else is living, because they see the difference in the two. The same way we can see the difference between the female who's up under a mind-altering substance versus the female that's up under knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? Building character. You know what I'm saying? And be able to judge right in order to be happy in the end with less problems, you know what I'm saying, than more problems, okay? Just to put that in that way. Let me continue. It's not the event of an impulse. When you act out an impulse, it's not the event of an impulse from without born of uncertainty. Is it born from without uncertainty? You know what I'm saying? It means you're not sure about it. That's why you act out of impulse. You're not sure about the outcome. Enforced by accident, because you're going to create an accident because you're not intended to be doing what you're doing. Dependent on someone else. It's not dependent on you. It's not dependent on anything, because you're acting out of impulse. To thee and to accident is due to praise, because that was what was in control. The impulse, you acting without thinking, you acting without reason, you're acting without a purpose. Okay? So impulse is not the way, fam. Let that be the message. Beware of irresolution in the intent of the actions. It means when you do something, beware of it not working out. Beware of how you can see it not working out, so you can alter it as you go and put it in proper perspective. If anything, be the logical thing to do, but it's saying beware of irresolution in the intent of thy action. Beware of instability in the execution. You know how you go and do something, but you ain't paying attention what you're doing? And not paying attention just because you had the thought already, you think you just do it that way and it's supposed to turn out. Now you're supposed to pay attention as you executing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's telling you, beware of instability. Beware of you're not being stable or firm in what you're doing. You're not being sure about what you're doing. Okay? When you go to execute. So shall thou triumph. You will be successful over two great felons of your nature. It says, nature urgeth thee to inconstancy, O man. Therefore, guard thyself at all times against it. So they're telling you here, beware of irresolution, because it's not the solution. So when you're not applying a solution and you don't know a solution, but you're doing something anyway, it's telling you beware in the intent when you do things. It says beware of instability, of not being stable, not being firm when you execute it. Okay? And you will triumph over two great weaknesses within your nature. That's why knowledge of self is so important, fam. You don't know you, you're doomed. Because you're going to tear something up. Because you that complicated. You know what I'm saying? You should have came with instructions. Technically, you did. It's just your enemy distracted you from your spirit. They didn't cultivate your mind for you to grow and evolve into your best self. You know what I'm saying? They gave you the opposite. They gave you false and insufficient information for you to be weak and stay vibrating on 120 degree, which is a dead level, a zombie level, where you walk around hitting walls and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, look at a literal zombie physically and how they behave, and then look at how you behave mentally, and you'll see the comparison. And hopefully you'll wake up and start to seek knowledge of self and put yourself on a high level of vibrational energy so you can be successful, so you can be happy, so you can save yourself from the lie. You know what I'm saying? But only the truth will set you free, fam. Let me continue. What reproaches reason more than to act contrarieties? What reproaches reason more than to act contrariety? In other words, what steps to something that's reasonable more than when you act contrary to what is reasonable? You know what I'm saying? In other words, you're not supposed to be acting contrary to reason. In other words, if it ain't right, you ain't supposed to be performing. You ain't supposed to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to contradict reason. If you're not in line with reason, you're out of law. Injustice will take its course. Karma will bite your boo-boo. You know what I'm saying? But without this knowledge, you don't know. That's why you get spanked every day. Because you do stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know no better. Because you're deaf, dumb, and blind. You're ignorant to the truth. The truth is the only thing going to save you. See, y'all been lied to about religion. Y'all been lied to about God. Y'all been lied to about what's right. You know what I'm saying? Y'all been lied to about the truth. So when I speak the truth, it sounds foreign because you never heard nobody say it the way I say it. Because nobody never understand or understand it the way I do. You know what I'm saying? So all you got to do is think and reflect on what I'm saying. And you're going to come to learn that what is in me is coming out is in you. Naturally, it's in your spiritual self. That self they didn't teach you about. That's where you're going to find all that I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So if you seek, you shall find. And when you find, you're going to be free of all the things that you never liked about your life. Okay? So it says, what reproaches reason more than to act contrarieties? What can suppress the tendencies of these but firmness in mind? You have to be firm, and you have to be intentful when you do things. So everything you do, it's got to be with the greatest intent, because intent is everything. You know what I'm saying? And as long as you intend to do right, it's going to turn out right. But you got to have knowledge on top of that intent. You have to build the knowledge because you got to be sure that this is right. You can't guess at it. You know what I'm saying? You can't make an assumption and think that it's going to turn out right. No, you got to have right knowledge. And from that knowledge, you got power. And that's why you're going to be successful when you make a decision. So your mind got to be firm. On where your mind firm is if your knowledge is solid. Okay? Keep that in mind, fam. The inconstant feeleth that he changes, but he knoweth not why. He seeth that he escapeth from himself, but he perceiveth not how. Be thou incapable of changing that which is right, and men will rely upon thee. Okay? The inconstant. It says, nature's urgeth thee to inconstancy, O man, guard thyself at all times against it. Okay? So you're not being consistent in something. In other words, one minute you acting one way, another minute you act another way. Then you keep changing up. You're never the same. People are not going to rely on you or depend on you or even trust you if you're inconstant, if you're not consistent. Keep that in mind. Even your children will doubt you. And nobody wants to be doubted by their children. You know what I'm saying? Because your children are usually your most prized possession. Okay? Even though you don't really possess them, you have some possession and control over them. But once they start to use their mind, they become independent. That's where they move on. But that's why you gotta season their minds with the maximum truth when they're young. You know what I'm saying? And I did say the truth, not falsehood. Because if you season their mind with the falsehood like you've been doing, they're gonna turn out like you turned out. And you ain't turned out so well. You know what I'm saying? Even you doing your best, there's always more that you can do to set a better example for them to turn out much better than you did. Okay? Go to the next one. It says, establish thyself principles of action and see that thou ever act according to them. The truth sets you free. Love eliminates hate, relieves you of feeling lost. You know what I'm saying? Because once you love, it means you didn't clean your life up. It means all that filth is gone. Because love can't dwell in a dirty house. You know what I'm saying? Same way God ain't gonna come in no filthy house. Okay? So love in itself got enormous beneficial changes in one's life when you truly learn to love instead of just using the word out your mouth, but having the vibrational frequency in your heart. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference, fam. So shall thy passions, those desires, have no rule over them. You know what I'm saying? Like the woman, the female up under the substance, ruled by her passions and her feelings and her emotions that created the unstable life that she lived. You know what I'm saying? Versus the woman who sought knowledge of self, built her character, was able to have wisdom and love and truth and justice and peace and freedom that guided her to the right kind of man to produce a happy life for herself and her children. Okay? So you want to put a circle around your passions and desires and keep them in the bounds of righteousness. It means you want to discipline yourself to not overindulge in the things that you desire. You know what I'm saying? Because you will suffer repulse with moderation. It means something gonna go wrong in your life. And it's because you keep feeding your desires instead of you handling your responsibilities. You know how you keep telling your child, going to sit down and watch TV because you don't want to attend to them mentally. You don't want to take the responsibility to set them at that table and make sure that they participate in something constructively to build their minds instead of you programming them through the TV because you don't want to be accountable. A lot of y'all do that and y'all think it's right and it's wrong. You're a deadbeat mama and you're a deadbeat dad. You see what I'm saying? If you performing that way, it is what it is. And if you don't like it, stop doing it and start taking responsibility. Start being accountable and seizing your children's mind with the maximum of truth. You know what I'm saying? So as they grow up, they can take the knowledge that you give them and create a better life for themselves than what you was able to create for yourself. Okay? This is being a true parent, fam. You know what I'm saying? Because you're taking responsibility for yourself. And from taking responsibility for yourself, you're taking responsibility for others that you're responsible for, okay? Which is your children. Stop doing what you seen your mama do. Stop doing what you seen your daddy do. Do better. Do greater. Do more. Because the more gonna pay off. Because if you invest in your children, then when you get old, they'll be in a position to give back to you and take care of you at your old age. But if you don't invest in them, guess what? They're not going to be able to do nothing for you because they're going to be just like you, without, begging, hand always out, looking for something instead of you creating something for yourself. Okay? Next instruction. Well, let me finish this instruction. So shall thy passions have no rule over thee. So shall thy constancy, not inconstancy, but thy constancy, your consistency, ensure unto thee the good thou possesseth, and drive from thy door misfortune. You know what I'm saying? You don't want no misfortune. So you want to control them passions so it won't bring about misfortune. Anxiety and disappointment shall be strangers to thy gate. You know what I'm saying? You won't have disappointment and anxiety waiting for you every day you wake up, every day you get out of work, every day you come home, every day somebody knock on your door. You know what I'm saying? So control your desires, control your passions, govern them. Because if you're not a man or woman that has control over your passions and desires, then your passion and desires controlling you. The substance is controlling you. The alcohol is controlling you. The weed is controlling you. The pills is controlling you. And as long as it's controlling you, it's controlling your life and sending you on a roller coaster straight to hell, straight to low vibrational energy, straight to misery. Okay? And misery love company. That's why you hang with the people you hang with, because y'all both miserable. You know what I'm saying? And if you pay attention, I don't care if you do it in the light of laughing, you know what I'm saying? Because you can put a coat on anything. But y'all both miserable and y'all both suffering, but you laugh about it and y'all exchange negativity back and forth to each other in the science of fun. You know what I'm saying? But really you're serious. You just do it in a joking manner. But if you keep it real with yourself, negativity is negativity, whether you do it with a smile or a frown. Okay? Another thing a brother taught me, the same brother that taught me that we operate on the three-dimensional plane simultaneously, or we are spiritual beings that operate on the three-dimensional plane simultaneously. He also taught that it don't matter whether you wink or blink at a dead horse. It don't matter. It's dead. So it don't matter whether you smile or you frown when you are passing back and forth negativity. Y'all demons warring against each other. I'm gonna say it again. Y'all demons warring back and forth with each other. Because you're evil, you're wicked, you're low vibrational, and you're practicing the craft, witchcraft. That's what you're practicing, witchcraft, black magic. You know what I'm saying? But you will condone somebody else that does it in a different way. But you're doing the same thing, not realizing it. Let me continue. Suspect not evil in anyone until thou seeth it. When thou seeth it, forget it not. Don't make up negativity in your mind about people. You know what I'm saying? That's you projecting on them how you feel inside of you. So be mindful. If you don't see it, don't perceive it. Don't think it. But when you see it, forget it not. Whoso hath been an enemy cannot be a friend, for man mendeth not his faults. You know what I'm saying? You have to define what an enemy is, what a friend is, because your teachers in life those who control the narratives, they have friends and foe alike based on their greediness. They'll hook up with a foe, an enemy, and they'll hook up with their friends and make money against a common enemy. You know what I'm saying? So you do the same thing. You call your enemies friends and you call your friends enemies because you're confused about what an enemy is and what a friend is. You don't know the difference. You think you do, but if that was the case, a lot of people you call family, you wouldn't mess with because they're your greatest enemy. And some of the people you call friends are your greatest enemies. You know what I'm saying? The problem is you don't recognize the enemy in your own behavior to see it in somebody else. And that's why you're easily deceived. Let me continue. How should his actions be right who had no rule of his life? Nothing can be just which proceedeth not from reason. How should his actions be right who had no rule over his life? If you don't rule or control anything, particularly yourself, how can you be right when you're being controlled by impulses, by accidents, by uncertainty? You know what I'm saying? You're uncertain about what you're doing, so you have no control. So to accident and to thee is due to praise for your stupidity, for your ignorance. You know what I'm saying? For whatever turns out in your life. Your ignorance, your stupidity gets the praise. Okay? Give you something to think about. Because nothing can be just which proceeds not for reason. And it's not reasonable to not have rule or control over your life. That's why scriptures tell you, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added unto you. First, get that rulership in order. Get that king in line. Because if you ain't worshiping the king, the spirit, then you worshiping something else that you have no rule over, but it has rule over you. And the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in your life. The proof is in the manifest. But you got to realize what you're doing and stop calling it something else because it's not what you're calling it. And that's why the devil got rule over your life and tricking you because you don't know the truth. Because the truth ain't set you free from that devil. Okay? Think about that. The inconstant has no peace in his soul. Neither can he be at ease whom he concerned himself with. The inconstant has no peace in his soul. There's no peace here, fam. Without peace, there can't be love. Without peace, there can't be truth. Without peace, you can't be free. And without peace, you definitely not going to get the justice that you're looking for that solves all problems. You see what I'm saying? Peace is key. Okay? The inconstant, you can't be the inconstant. You can't be the one that's being inconsistent. You know what I'm saying? Because you have no peace. And you can't be at ease or at peace with anybody else in your house. So that's why you cause so much hell. And you blame it on your children because they're making noise. Children are supposed to make noise, especially when they ain't being raised right. They're not being disciplined because you don't know how to discipline your children. You have no discipline in yourself because you ain't disciplining yourself to be at peace, so you can't discipline somebody else to be at peace, even a child. That's why children, they really ruling you because they manipulating you, it's upsetting you, and you lashing out, putting your hands on them children. And that's called abuse, fam, all day long. So if you come to learn that you're abusive, correct it. Don't fight it. Don't resist the thought. Tell yourself that truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And you'll be free from the very thing that has you bound and kept you making mistakes after mistake after mistake. Keep your hands off them children. If it's okay for you to beat your children, then you say it's okay for somebody to beat you, because you the leader of the disobedience. You the one teaching them how to be disobedient. Where they learn it from? If you the parent, you supposed to be raising them. They ain't supposed to be raising you. And if you don't know how to properly raise, humble yourself. Admit to yourself that you really don't know what you're doing. And when you can do that, that's when you're going to start finding out what you need to do, and you're going to start doing it, and you're going to start seeing how your life changes. But it's up to you. The pride of emptiness is an abomination, and to talk much is the foolishness of habit, the foolishness of folly. Nevertheless, I can't think the rest, but you got enough, and you get where I'm going. Okay? Those of you that's paying attention. Those of you not paying attention, you got to go back and listen to it again, because you missed too much. You're trying to do too much at one time. Okay? But that's your life, right? You didn't accumulate all this stuff on you, but ain't no sense of complaining. Calm down, relax, keep your mind clear. Don't get emotional. Emotions will tear you up. You got to get still. You got to pay attention. Your focus got to be clear, because you got to find that truth so you can knock the brains out of that falsehood and them lies that you've been operating up under, that you've been taught from your parents when you was younger. Now you got to cut all that out, clean all that up, and start fresh with a new slate, with a new mindset, with a new purpose, with a new agenda, with new methods and skills and tools. And one of them is not using your hand to whoop your children. Okay? Let's continue. His life is unequal. His motions are irregular. His soul changes with the weather. We talking about you now. Listen. Today he loveth thee. Tomorrow thou art detested by him. And why? Himself knoweth not whether he now hateth. You know what I'm saying? In other words, you'll switch up. One minute you're happy, you're joyful. Next minute you shouting, you hollering, you just in your feelings. And this is what you take your children through. This is what you're teaching them on a daily basis. So they're going to start to act just like you're behaving, and you messing their life up because your life is messed up. Today he is profuse. Tomorrow he grudgeth unto his mouth that which it should eat. Thus it is with him who knoweth not moderation. Stop doing too much of anything. I said stop doing too much of anything, and watch how your life changes. Moderation is key. A little bit of everything keeps all misery away, anxiety and pain. Okay? Overindulge, you're going to suffer. It's up to you what you want. You know what I'm saying? You got the power. You just don't want to use it because you never seen nobody else do it. Nobody else is called to do it. You're being called to do it. So figure it out, fam. You got all the answers you need within. Slow down, be still, and think. The actions of the soul. Thinking, reasoning, willing. Thinking, reasoning, willing, and understanding. Thinking, reasoning, willing, and understanding. A process Can't go wrong. You don't know what these words mean? Look it up on your phone. Google it. What is the definition? And go over that definition several times until you lock it in, until you remember. Using class and language, studying for the spelling test. What you had to do? Repeat them letters over and over again until you remember them. Repeat that definition until you get a working understanding of what that definition means. Okay? Who shall say of the chameleon, he is black, when the moment after the verdure of the grass overspreadeth him? Okay? The chameleon's constantly changing, so you can't say the chameleon is black. Because the next second or minute, it's going to be green. Then it's going to change again. It's going to keep changing. So stop wasting your time judging it. It's a chameleon. Recognize it for what it is. Who shall say of the inconstant, he is joyful, when the next breath shall be spent in sighing, complaining, you know? What is the life of such a man but the phantom of a dream? In the morning he rises happy, at noon he is on the rack. This hour he is a god, the next below a worm. One moment he laugheth, the next he weepeth. He now willeth, in an instant he willeth not. And in another he knoweth not whether he willeth or not. Sound like somebody's confused, right? You better believe it. Yet neither ease nor pain have fixed themselves on him. Neither is he waxed greater or become less. Neither hath he has cause for laughter or reason for sorrow. Therefore shall none of them abide with him. You better believe it. Because if you ain't consistent with something, then it's not yours. You haven't earned it. Okay? Consistency is key. The happiness of the inconstant is as a palace built on the surface of the sand. The blowing of the wind carried away its foundation. What wonder then that it followed? You don't build nothing on the surface of the sand. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to hold it. It's not going to be firm. So when you go to build something, you make sure it's firmly rooted in right knowledge, in truth, not the lie, not falsehood. But what exalted form is this? This is a new form. This is a new description right here. So they're saying, but what exalted form is this, that hitherwards directs its even? Okay? I ain't looked it up in a while right now, and I don't got internet access to go deep in that, but look it up. Hitherward. 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 It says, what exalted form is this, that hitherward directs its even? It's directing its even. It's being even. It's being balanced, okay? It's uninterrupted course. It means consistent. If it's uninterrupted, it's not being interrupted. It's consistent, has a consistent course, whose foot is on earth versus on sand, okay? Whose head is above the clouds instead of in somebody's panties or drawers or somebody else's business. You see what I'm saying? Your head should be in the clouds, high above, on a pinnacle where you can see everything. You know what I'm saying? On his brow saith majesty. You know what I'm saying? Honor. You know what I'm saying? Adoration. You know, benevolence. High praises. Steadiness is in his port. and in his heart reigned tranquility. And I just described majesty the best way I could remember. Okay, I'm not accurate on that specific definition, but I know it's high honor. Okay. It says on his brow sit his majesty. You know what I'm saying? Say wisdom too. Steadiness is in his port. He's steady when he's navigating to places he go and what's his intent when he's trying to accomplish something. And in his heart reigneth tranquility. You know what I'm saying? He's tranquil. He's at peace. He's in balance. You know what I'm saying? Though obstacles appear in his way, he designeth not to look down upon them. Okay? He sees the obstacles, but he has a solution. Okay? Though heaven and earth oppose his passage, he proceedeth. He's on a mission. He knows his mission. He has knowledge, right? Knowledge, so he know where he's going. And he know how he's going to accomplish what he's trying to accomplish. The mountains sink beneath his thread. The waters of the ocean are dried up under the sole of his foot. The tiger throweth herself across his way in vain. The spots of the leopard glow against him unregarded. Okay? Unregarded. He's not even regarding the spots of the leopard. Okay? He's on a mission. He's focused. He's determined. You know what I'm saying? He marches through the embattled legions. With his hand, he put aside the terrors of death. He's a demon slayer, a curse breaker, a generational curse breaker, a spiritual warrior. He's determined to win. He's determined to accomplish his goal. He's designed that way through his knowledge, wisdom, and over understanding. Storms roar against his shoulders, but are not able to shake them. The thunder bursts over his head in vain. The lightning serveth but to show the glories of his countenance. His name is resolution. He cometh from the utmost part of the earth. He seeth happiness afar off before him. His eyes discovereth her temple beyond the limits of the pole. He walketh up to it. He entered boldly, and he remaineth there forever. Establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right, and then know the greatest of human is to be immutable, is to be unchangeable, to be consistent in what you decide to do. And when you do that, you're going to discover a power in you like you never imagined. Your spirit. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added unto you, fam. This is Moorish Thought, here to share knowledge, wisdom, over and understanding into the science of self. And I am Dr. Bay, you know what I'm saying, your host in Moorish Thought. And I am Chief Justice Duran Edward Myrtle Bay, in capitis diminutio nolo in red ink, in proper persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredis, as your authority, or the authority over Moorish thought. Okay? Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Keep love on your mind. Keep peace in your heart. Seek the kingdom of heaven through seeking truth, through seeking knowledge in abundance. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing greater than knowledge, fam. And because you've never done it before, it's going to be difficult, but it can be done. And it should be done by any means necessary. Peace, family. Have a great rest of y'all. Tuesday. Peace.